Hi, so it's good to have you here. My name is Winnie and my YouTube channel, like I said, it's about wellness and how it intersects with business growth. So welcome to today's session. Today I'm at Sky Hub Nigeria and I'm going to interview the CEO to just get to know more about what motivated him to start his career in digital skills and what it's like with business and how it also relates to wellness as well. So just stay in touch. We're going to begin very soon. So thank you for having me at your hub today. So kindly introduce yourself to my audience and tell us what you do.
All right, thank you very much for having me on your channel. My name is Solomon Keshmayati. I run a creative digital media hub known as Sky Hub Nigeria. So basically what we do at Sky Hub is we run digital media and digital skills services. Apart from running these services, we also train, we outsource, and then we accelerate. So basically, these are the 3 core things we do at Sky Hub. But coming back to myself personally, I am a graduate of computer science.
So I was going to ask, you have a BSc.
Yes.
So your BSc is in computer science. Yeah, so I was just going to ask that when you started your BSc in computer science, what did you have in mind? Did you see this picture in mind that time? Like, did you know you were going to get to graduate and have a home? And did you see this picture at that time? Or you saw a different picture?
At that time, my concerns were just to pass my exam and graduate.
Okay.
But on the long run, I saw myself working for someone.
Okay.
Working in an organization or being someone's boy or in the tech industry. I never saw myself having my own brand and then giving out to people like I am doing currently.
Okay, so what changed that? Was it while you were still in the university, then you got to change like the thinking that you had to, or when you graduated? Probably did you graduate and try looking for jobs and there was no job? Or
Funny enough, I didn't work after graduation. The only work I had was during my internship, the 6-month compulsory internship, the series.
Okay.
So basically, I did my IT at ITF with the quotas in JOS.
Okay.
And during that time, I had hands-on practical experience of almost all that our lecturers did teach us back then in school. So, but at the time, I discovered, should I say, the triggers were there, but the triggers were not identified. It felt as though, as an undergraduate, sometimes things come, but you do not really pay attention into it. So after I graduated, I went for my NYC. It was during the post session at the hub. I actually served at NHub in JOS.
Okay.
So it was during the post sessions we used to have at the hub that I now started to sink in together with those triggers I used to have during my undergraduate days. And then I nurtured it. I was fortunate enough to be among the incubators through the Next Economic Forum and the hub in JOS. From there, Sky Hub method, and then we're here today.
Okay, great. So I was actually asking that question because, you know, a lot of young people, especially in our part of the world, in Nigeria, let's say Africa generally, most people don't really have the plans while they were on the undergraduate level to know what they would like end up with much later. Let's say for myself, I was in the medical background, so you can imagine being in the medical background and then coming to be like a digital person much later in life. But I think for myself, it was more like looking at the past where being in the digital space, it makes you connect more to the world compared to when you're not being in the digital like space or something. So that was it for me. So that was why I was trying to get it and understand where or how it works. So do you really have any special thing for the digital stuff, like you choosing computer science? Was there any reason why you had to choose computer science, or was it chosen for you?
No, okay. So right from, should I say, childhood,
Yeah.
I've had a flair for gadgets,
Okay.
TV remotes, TV screens, and the rest. So I remember at my GSS2, we came back for normal summer lessons and all. So my dad asked my siblings what we all wanted to do. Going to MSG, going to Palo. So me, I said they should also enroll me in computer
Wow.
So typically, it was the cyber cafe stuff. But I remember resuming back to school. In fact, almost all the times you could easily access the computer lab. So after SS3, the whole smashing the wire and all. My dad do medicine, my mom do biochemistry.
Okay, your mom. Okay.
They wanted me.
Okay, they wanted you. Okay,
because of my wire results.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Perhaps what I was seeing myself in a flexible environment better than a medical aspect.
So your mom wanted you to be a doctor.
My
Your
dad
dad wanted you to be.
Yeah.
So now that you've started this digital hub, like Sky Hub here in Makurdi in Benue State, has there been any challenge you've been having? I listened to a podcast and the person who they were interviewing was talking about the challenges he has had in the digital transformation industry, and most of the challenges he was talking about was the idea of mindset. A lot of young people have allowed their parents to influence their thinking about feeling that once you go to the school, you go to like the university, you graduate just like your parents wanted you to study biochemistry, medical stuff in the medical sciences. So I think for myself, my parents also wanted me to be a doctor because I was coming first in class. So most of our parents, it's not that they meant bad, but that was the way they were thinking, and they felt it was the best way for us, probably because in their time, those were the things that mattered in their time. So a lot of young people, like I said in the podcast that I listened to, the guy was trying to talk about the challenges he has had with the young people. They've allowed their parents to influence their reasoning, and they don't feel like there's anything so special because this digital transformation thing, it's like the current century thing. It's not what has happened back in the century. So many young people are not being so open-minded to the idea of learning digital skills.
A consistent challenge we have here is the awareness.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you see or when you tell someone you are running a hub in Makurdi, the thing that comes to their mind is cyber cafe mentality. We are not into market people. I'm not teaching you how to type.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to go and print or scan or laminate. No. So when you tell them you are running a hub, that's one of the first things. It's not a business center like the cyber cafe regular.
Which we always have around.
Yeah.
Because I know, in fact, for one thing I know, I don't know of any hub in Benue State. I think you're the very first person. So I was really excited. I was excited when I got to see that. This guy, we actually met online. So I was excited when I got back and I checked a digital hub in Benue State. I've never heard of anything of such nature because I know that in Benue State, almost everywhere you go around, it's computer skills, and the computer skills they're talking about is just how to type, which is like basically the general thing, and that's not something so difficult to do. And so I was really happy to know that someone out there is doing something like this. So has that been the only challenge you've had?
Apart from that, the acceptance is another problem. So we begin from the awareness. So we have to reorient them on how they think about the digital space and then transform them into getting digitally acquainted with all that we do. Then the acceptance, sometimes they are informed, but the willingness and the interest is gone because of the societal factors or the environmental factors. Because you see some of them were born in Makurdi or being rather they schooled here, at some point some of them don't even want to go to service. So because of the level of exposure some of us might have had, when we now come back, breaking into their world, it's like a norm now for them to feel digital tools cannot be accessed. So when it comes to their reasoning, basically when they are applying for a job and then they say submit your CV and then they do not know how to submit their CVs. Or they say add your skills and then the only thing they would add is maybe typing, or Microsoft Word. Yeah, all those things I do not really consider them. And if you say Excel, I can consider Excel, but when you talk about Microsoft, I would not really consider as a skill. So then the acceptance is another problem. Then for funding, I feel it's a general phenomenon because even when they accept, even when they are now informed, they do not have the assets to actually learn and improve on these skills.
When I'm trying to understand the part of funding, you mean them having to pay for the courses?
Yes, pay for these courses.
I'm thinking that if people get to know the value of what they are learning, I don't think that amount of money, because some of these people, let's say for young people, let's say for girls or for guys, they don't have issues with buying probably a hair that would cost about 60,000 naira. Like some people don't mind saving to buy a hair that can cost 60,000 naira, 50,000 naira. Some boys, like young boys, they don't have issues with saving to buy a footwear that would cost around like you get Nike, because they know it's what's really trending and stuff, or even phones. So I feel that if people really know the value of what they are learning, it shouldn't be a problem, because young people have access to money. Would you like to recommend anyone you feel that for someone who is trying to learn, is there anyone you'd like to recommend that you should try checking out for this person more? I think it's going to help the audience.
Yeah, so if you are looking to be a digital marketer, the likes of Gary B, it's one hell of a guy that you definitely want to.
Gary B.
Yeah. But coming down to, let's localize and then promote ourselves too. So coming down to the African setting, there is a Kenyan, Janet Machuka.
Wow, I have to check him out.
Yeah, she does amazing things. In fact, for HubSpot, and then I think, HubSpot, she had done some certification courses for them.
Wow.
Yeah, so I follow these people a lot.
So is there any advice you'd like to give to people who are looking up to starting something or starting a career in the digital skills industry? Is there any word of advice or encouragement you'd like to give out to them?
So start small. You might see someone who says he's a senior dev or he's a tech savvy because the person is using an let's say Mac 2020 Mac. Don't worry, just start with your calculator computer. As you are progressing, you are advancing yourself, and then there is room. So you can't just be a beginner. You can't be using a 1 million naira laptop where what you are getting in turn is like 2,000 naira. So it should be at least start small, then look into improving your skills, growing your certifications. Mentorship is very, very important. Some people can be comfortable learning by themselves on their own, but if you have a situation whereby you can easily run to someone, ask 1 or 2 questions, let them mentor you. Look at these people, relate to what they do and the solutions. Basically, going into tech is all about solving problems. So if you don't have the mindset to solve a problem, you might not really gain.
So I was going to ask you what your relationship is like with health and wellness. How often do you work out? How often do you eat properly? Because these things are very paramount when it comes to business or when it comes to entrepreneurship. Because if you feel you could lag around when it comes to your well-being as a person, it gets to affect even your productivity, and you not even realize that there are even foods that affect how the brain functions.
Yeah, definitely.
There are even foods that affect how your mental health is like. So these are things to take more seriously. So I don't know how good your relationship is like with wellness, but let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, what do you think? How would you rate yourself?
Let's break the scale into different varieties. Okay, so let me start with the food, right?
Okay.
For food, I will give myself, it's not too good, so I will give myself 6 over 10.
No, I said on a scale of 1 to 100.
So let me leave myself on the 60.
Okay.
Yeah, but for wellness, I do sport.
Workout.
Yeah, I play volleyball time to time. So I can give myself, for some time now, I've not been there to play, but 78.
Okay, 78. Yeah. So that's fair enough, because a lot of entrepreneurs do, let's say they neglect that part of their well-being. Yeah. So they feel almost everything is around business, and then they neglect the part where what you're eating, like what you're putting into your body, and your body shape, like the kind of workout you're doing. They neglect all of these things, and it's something that comes back on the long run to affect your business, because if you're not healthy, there's certainly no way, and many people do not even realize that when they're not being very productive enough, it comes down to their health and their well-being. So I was going to say, one of these days, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to a workout. So we're going to do a workout.
All right, challenge accepted.
So thank you so much for allowing us to have this session. So see you at the challenge. Thank you so much for watching too. Bye-bye.
Bye.